so we both work together.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome. I am Library Director Michelle Albert, and I'm honored to be here with all of you today for this momentous occasion, the dedication of the Anthony J. Iannarone Esquire Children's Room in recognition of Mr. Iannarone's 50 years of distinguished service to Nutley Public Library. I was in recent conversation with New Jersey State Librarian Jennifer Nelson, who was unable to attend today, but I thought it would be appropriate to share a few of her thoughts, which captured the essence of the celebration. To have a trustee like Mr. Iannarone is the dream of every public library. A dedicated public servant who leads not only in the governing of the library, but also looks to its growth by cooperating with other libraries, securing outside funding, advancing technology, and establishing gift funds. It's remarkable. And to do so for 50 years is nothing short of astounding. Mr. Iannarone has excelled in his ability to forge strong relationships that benefit equally the library and the town. Mr. Iannarone, the library has gained many resources under your leadership, which has allowed the staff to focus on providing excellent services to the community. On behalf of myself and the staff, we thank you for your mentorship and 50 years of service. We are proud to dedicate this children's room in your honor, a space that ignites reading, information seeking, and lifelong learning, all qualities that we know you hold dear to your heart. In conclusion, I want to extend my thanks to the Board of Commissioners, the Library Board of Trustees, the library staff, the Friends of the Library, the Dedication Committee, and the Iannarone family for their assistance in today's event. Thank you to Nutley High School student Caroline Rotacco for the lovely music. And above me, please take notice of the mural created by Nutley High School's talented students and instructor, Ms. Melchioni, and student and library monitor Lillian Van de Zilver, and library assistant Anise Saint Ma. It's a beautiful addition to our room. At the conclusion of the ceremony, please stay and enjoy the library, the company, and refreshments presented by Nutley High School staff and instructor Tariq Huggins and the advanced culinary team. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. For those who don't know me, I'm Mayor Joe Scarpelli. I'd like to say good afternoon. And it's my pleasure to be emceeing this afternoon's event, celebrating Anthony Iannarone's long service to our community and the naming of the children's section of the library in his honor. This is such a fitting tribute. Tony has served 50 years on the library board and is currently in his 36th year as the library president. Now in his 10th full term, he has been appointed by 7 different mayors and has served longer than anyone in the history of Nutley as a member of any official municipal board, elected or appointed. Amazing. Let's hear it for Anthony. Just to put that into perspective, when Tony was first appointed to the library board, that year, color televisions finally outnumbered black and white TVs. The first video arcade game, Pong, and the first pocket calculators were introduced. And gas was 36 cents a gallon.
Oh my God.
I first met Anthony when I was a player in the Nutley American Little League. As a 10-year-old, it was hard not to notice Anthony. He had the biggest pair of glasses I had ever seen. Anthony is an inspiration to all of us, taking a tragic accident as a freshman in college, and through perseverance and hard work, graduated college, received his law degree from NYU, and became corporate counsel at Hoffman LaRoche. Through the years, Anthony has always been a fixture in our community, whether it was one of our local citizens allowed inside the gates of the Willy Wonka chocolate factory known as Roche, or as the face of the Mattea Awards, or the driving force behind the Nutley Hall of Fame, or the father of my classmate Brian, teammate David, and their sister Lisa. One personal story, during one of my first campaigns, Anthony asked to say a few words. He gets up and gives an impassioned speech urging everyone to vote for Joey. It was a fantastic vote of confidence, but as I sat there listening, all I could think of was, where else can you be, a man in your 50s, and someone can call you Joey, and everybody thinks it's normal. Only in Nutley, and that's what's great about our town. Mr. I, as he is known in this building, his passion for the library is legendary. During his presidency, we have seen the library grow from a Carnegie-inspired depository of books that has expanded both physically and technologically to meet the needs of our community. A space that has free access to all. It has become the center of learning, innovation, history, culture, and civic engagement. But it's also just a quiet place to relax, sort of our community living room. Thank you, Anthony, for your unprecedented service to the Township of Nutley and your leadership in transforming the library into a 21st century community center. Let's hear it for Anthony and all his good work. We do have some speakers who would like to say a few words, so at this time, I'd like to call our Congressman, Mikey Sherrill. I had the privilege of walking with Mikey on Center Street, and some of the businesses that were helped during COVID, and the help that she gave those businesses in accessing funds. So the Congressman's done a great job for us. Let's hear it for him.
Well, thank you so much, and Mr. Iannarone, it's an honor to be here. There are many definitions of public service, and certainly you exemplify it at its best. Someone who's part of the community, who at every level of service comes out to support people, whether it's in Little League or the support you've given to the children and to the library. This is a beautiful dedication. I am a huge fan of libraries, so certainly a huge honor to have this sign up for all that you've done. We all really appreciate it, and thank you too. I know we have Commissioner Carlos Pomares here today. I appreciate you coming out, and our town commissioners, and certainly thank you, Mayor, for having me. It's a beautiful library and a really wonderful tribute. Thank you so much, and I'm going to present this certificate. One second. I should be good. I've been vaccinated multiple times and I've had COVID, so I'm hoping I'm out of the woods, but I want to make sure. Okay, so the 11th Congressional District of the great state of New Jersey honors Anthony J. Iannarone, Esquire. Be it known that the undersigned member of the United States Congress, the Honorable Mikey Sherrill of the 11th Congressional District of the great state of New Jersey, hereby honors Library Board President Anthony J. Iannarone, Esquire, in gratitude for his decades of service to the Nutley community upon the occasion of the dedication of the Anthony J. Iannarone, Esquire Children's Room at the Nutley Public Library. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Also, we have with us Vice President of the Essex County Board of Commissioners, Carlos Pomares. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mayor, and it's an honor to be here today, to our Congresswoman and to our other commissioners on the municipal level. We threw things off because we changed our name from freeholder or freeloader, as someone pointed out back there, to commissioners. And so, on behalf of the Essex County Board of Commissioners and our county executive, it is an honor to be here and to acknowledge Anthony for his outstanding work. I don't know if I should say this, but you've been in public service as long as I've been alive. And I mean that with great honor and love and respect, certainly. But when I'm not wearing the commissioner's hat, I'm actually an educator. I serve as a professor, and I'm married to a lifelong teacher who teaches now second grade in the public schools. And we know firsthand from not only our careers, but also as the parents of three, one of which is here, my oldest, how important institutions like this are and how much they've evolved, and how it's a changing field. I mean, kids are learning in such a different way. So to be able to keep on top of the technology and to make it relevant and current today is a real testament. And the fact that Anthony has been here for so long is a real testament to his commitment, certainly the love and respect by the community, and we want to just be a tiny piece in the acknowledgement of that. I did bring today, and I won't read it because everybody here is well aware of his accomplishments, but we did bring an Essex County resolution, a commendation resolution, an acknowledgement of Anthony's work. And so I wanted to present this on behalf of the Essex County Board of Commissioners to Anthony. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner. Also with us today is the President of the New Jersey Library Trustee Association, Patricia Pavlik. Patricia?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me here today. What a momentous occasion. I thought I was a long-time trustee, being a trustee for 26 years, but you, sir, have me beat. I'm also the president of the Board of Trustees of the Cranford Public Library, so I know how valuable trustees and the work that they do is to the library. So I just want to commend Mr. Iannarone, I want to commend Anthony. I just want to commend you, and I also want to give a shout out to library trustees, because many times people don't realize that libraries in New Jersey are governed by boards of trustees, and they don't realize how much work they give to the library. They serve without compensation, and they do it because they love libraries, and they know how important they are to a community. And I think we all saw that in COVID, when we saw how people, look to the library to start to get back to a sense of normalcy. So I'm very excited to be here. I bring the congratulations of the New Jersey Library Trustee Association, our 1,600 members. We're so proud of Mr. I, and I wish every library had a trustee like him. So thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Patricia. Also, someone who is no stranger to us, Treasurer of the Nutley Library Board of Trustees, Wayne Greenfeder. Wayne, come on up.
Hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Wayne Greenfeder. I'm the treasurer and the trustee of the Nutley Public Library. And it's been my pleasure to be on the board with Tony for 26 years. I thought I put a lot of time in. I'm a piker compared to that. But anyway, Tony in all these years has been a fabulous mentor to all of us on the board and to all the directors and librarians and staff. He's always been there for all of us, and he's been a great teacher. In his 50 years of devotion to the library, Tony's accomplishments have been many. But there's just a couple I'd like to mention that I think Tony is particularly proud of. One, this library. What you're in now used to be a 1914 Carnegie Library with the 1942 WPA edition. In 1988, Tony was instrumental in getting funding, working with the architect, working with the commissioners, and rebuilding and renovating this library with a 20,000-foot addition. So this is really the house that Tony built. The other thing I'd like to mention, and it's not as obvious to people, but Tony was an early believer in libraries joining together to share resources. And Tony was instrumental in getting our library in as the first Essex County library to be part of the Bergen County Cooperative Library System, or BUCLS. So when you walk into this library, you're actually walking into 73 libraries. The resources of over 70 libraries are available to everybody in this library, and that's principally because of Tony. That was his vision. So I think it's altogether fitting and proper that we name this room after Tony, who's given so much, both to the library and to this town, for so many years. Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you, Wayne. David, Brian, Lisa, who's coming up? All right, come on up.
We're not rehearsed.
You got it.
So let's go first. You? I'm the youngest, I have to go first? I thought that was... Well, believe it or not, we've had 60 to 65 years of him being our dad. And we've decided for the rest of the time, we're gonna tell dad stories. We'll need to go till 5, though, because there's a lot of stories. Well, anyway, thanks everyone for coming, and it was really a great effort that everybody came together to put this on. We really thank you for that. And I would just like to say, as a kid, you really just look at your parents as your parents, right? Because you're not walking in those shoes. And I remember my father coming crashing through the door in a suit, because there was no business casual right then, a very serious job. He would come running through the door, and my mother would announce, "Your father has a library board meeting." Well, we all knew what that was, right? He's got to eat before he goes. If he has time to eat, he doesn't have time to eat, he's going to go right out, and then he's going to come back, and then he's going to eat. And I'm like, well, okay, it was just a whirlwind for us. And then I had kids. I started working. I had to wear a suit. Now I don't, but I had to wear a suit, and I would come crashing through. And I realized giving back to the community is really, really difficult. It takes a lot of passion, and it takes a lot of commitment, which my father has both. I think he's actually probably read every book in this library in Essex County as well. So anyway, to give back to the world more than you take is a wonderful thing, and my father's managed to do that.
I'd like to thank the committee and everybody else who spent all this time to put this fantastic presentation together. And it's a lot of people worked very hard, and it's a tremendous honor for 50 years that he's doing this. When I was a kid, I went to Nutley High School, and we didn't have the internet. This was the internet. I remember coming over, having to do book reports, and putting dimes to make copies of the encyclopedia page. You know, because you had to write the report, and it was the day before, and you were under a lot of pressure. So this is a fantastic building. It's you're surrounded by books and knowledge, and my father will tell you the books can take you anywhere. They can take you to the moon, to Mars, to the center of the earth. There's fantastic stories about people's lives. And what's most fantastic about this building is it's the only building in town that everybody uses. It's the center of the community. And I think, you know, to honor my father is tremendous, and I think going forward to continue to honor him would just be to maintain this fantastic building that it's so valuable to the community. So thank you very much.
Hi everybody, I'm Lisa. I want to thank you for being here today, and I have to recognize not only my wonderful father and my 2 baby brothers, but my beautiful daughter Elise and her boyfriend John. And back over here, my beautiful daughter Caitlin, and I always have to say my Australian son-in-law. And also other members of my family, my father's sister Gloria, her beautiful daughter Andrea, her husband Mike, my cousin Linda, and my cousin Joseph's daughter, Lauren, and her beautiful daughter, Francesca. So thank you to all the family and friends who are gathered here today. I think the thing I remember most with my dad is he was always teaching us. And I remember as a kid, he made sure we had a set of encyclopedias. The house was full of books. And I would ask him, what's this book about? I don't know, I haven't read it. I don't remember read it till long ago. Now I'm saying that. I've been a teacher, this is my 19th year teaching English. And I have brought so much of his knowledge forward. I think it's so important. He was always telling us things, showing us things. I remember teaching Lord of the Flies and being able to expound upon the giant squid, because I remember my dad talking to us about that as children. These two I don't think absorbed them. So they probably remember him teaching us to light a match and set a leaf on fire with a magnifying glass. I do want to say this is absolutely a beautiful mural. I'm so proud that you've chosen to honor my father in this way. And may his knowledge go forward and his legacy continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right, remember those green books we had to look up the periodicals in, and we had to go find the periodical for the, not just search in some computer and it all came up. Kind of missed those days. At this time, I'd like to bring up Commissioner Tucci, Commissioner Petracco, and Commissioner Kelly for a couple words in the presentation of the proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here today to honor not only a great library president, a great trustee for 50 plus years in different capacities, but a wonderful friend, someone who's always willing and ready to give back to the community. Tony, this tribute is so well deserved. I can't think of a better way to honor you and honor your service and your family, all right, than naming this children's room after you. So I'm happy to be here. Congratulations, and it's great to be your friend.
I think everyone has a story about Tony. I could tell you he's done much more for the town than this library. He's been all over the place. And I just have to tell one story, Tony. I don't know if you remember it. But when I first got elected, there was a knock on the door like the second day. My wife's like, somebody's at the door. And who was it? It was Tony. And my wife's like, really, Al? From now this stuff is gonna start? And I have to tell you, Tony came in, and I remember those words that you said to me, Tony, and they're really heartfelt. If anybody deserves an honor like this, it's definitely this guy right here. Congratulations to your family, and you're a good friend, Tony. Thank you.
So like everyone has said tonight, they can't believe how long you've been serving. Not only have you been a public servant here at the library on the board, but you've been president almost as long as I've been alive. And one of my most treasured childhood memories is coming to library school. I was 3, 4 years old, and we'd come here to the children's reading room and listen to story time. And it was one of my favorite activities to do. I'd always ask my mom, when can we go? When can we go again? And so this is such a truly great honor for you to have. And I've always considered you a friend and a mentor. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this celebration and dedication for you. Congratulations.
Let's present the proclamation to Anthony. Anthony, for your service to our community for this many years, please accept this proclamation on behalf of the Board of Commissioners. Congratulations again. There's a couple of other people I'd like to acknowledge before we do a little unveiling, and we hear from the man of the honor here today. First, Assemblyman Paul Di Gaetano. Paul, please stand up. Commissioner Walt Smith, Commissioner. And Dr. Huey, President of the Friends of the Library. So Anthony, we'd like you to stand up. Come on over here. And we'd like you to take that little black thing off of what's underneath. Anthony, would you like to say a couple words? I know, you're always short with what you have to say. Congratulations.
This is a very humbling experience. A lot of people to thank. First one is Joe Scarpelli, because this was his idea. A couple of years ago, we were going to do it, but COVID intervened, and it worked out better, because instead of doing it at 48 years, we do it at 50. Thank you so much. So that's kind of valuable. I'm proud to say I knew his father well, and I knew his grandfather well. His grandfather actually did work at my house. He was quite a character. He used to go to every board meeting, ask a lot of tough questions, and usually had some real substance to him. Thank, of course, the committee, the library people, the Friends of the Library, and all else who contributed to this event. I see, I haven't seen Di Gaetano in a long time. I taught him to kiss cheeks.
Very well, too.
So, well, how did it all begin? That's a question I don't think people have had an answer to. It actually began as a favor to Carmen Orecchio. Carmen back then in '72 was the mayor, first term, and he had an opening on the library board. Well, apparently there were two women, both librarians, who wanted the job, and he didn't want to give it to them. I didn't really know one of them, but I knew one of them. She was a librarian at Roche. She was a rather somewhat obese woman who wore black pantsuits and rode a motorcycle. Well, anybody who knows Carmen Orecchio, he may have been a Democrat, but he was no progressive. I mean, he wouldn't even let the police wear mustaches. So you can imagine what he thought of this one. So he needed somebody who had credentials. Of course, I had 3 degrees. I was a lawyer at Roche. So as a favor to him, oh, come on, Tone, it's only an hour a month. Yeah, right. Not exactly the way it worked out. So that's how it started. And then I was appointed by Mayor Chenoweth, who was a good friend of the library. He really pushed getting the extension done. And the reference room downstairs is named after him, for those of you who don't know that. And followed by Joe's father, Peter, Gary Fernari, Joanne Cacciola, Al Petracco, and Joe Scarpelli himself. I also worked with Mayors Kelly and Tucci, although the timing was such they didn't actually appoint me, but I enjoyed that experience as well. And directors, when I started, it was Gertrude Schacht. She's a venerable lady. She was something that, if Andy Griffith put her in Mayberry, she would have been perfect. But she was a nice lady, and it's followed by Richard Bernardo, not so nice. Susan Persack, who saw us through all this construction and it closed down because of asbestos. She was a good lady. Followed by Cindy Chamberlain, who had been in charge of the Allwood branch of the Clifton Library. Joanne Tropiano, who was the librarian and our librarian at the same time, and then went full-time here. And then she was followed by Maria Labadia, oh no, I'm sorry, Sarah Lester, and who was a terrific librarian. And then Maria Labadia, who unfortunately passed at the early days of COVID, and now Michelle. And in between is acting director Kieran Patel, who did a terrific job. And other presidents, when I started, was Archie Barbetta, who was the president of local bank. He was followed by Dr. Young, and then Eugene DePanasis, who died in August of 1986. So anyway, what was it like in those days? They were a snotty bunch. All men, mostly old, all had to wear suits and ties. No derelictions there. You had to do it, and they were very generous. The pages would get a 5-cent raise every 3 years. It was really something. But it was a pleasure. Now, this room was the main room of the original library, Carnegie Library from 1920, and it was different than it is now. The ceiling was curved, plaster ceiling, very thick on mesh. And one day it developed a crack and it started to sag down in one place. We were looking for someone to fix it, and one Sunday they start getting alarms over in the fire department, and the whole ceiling came down. It was like a bomb had hit in the middle of World War II. It was a mess. We were closed for 4 months, although we were able to circulate some books. It was totally different. There was a little tiny office in the corner over there for the director. There were some stairs here that went up to the 3rd floor where the reference books were. I had 2 engineering triumphs. One was involved the exit here. It was like a vestibule. It was a platform, and it was a little 4-inch step. Those little 4-inch steps they get you. They got you tripping coming in and falling going out. We had more people falling. And one day I said, enough of this. I got my friends at Roche to build a small ramp. Put the ramp there, no more falling. The other one was a major triumph. It was the Battle of the Pigeons. And they were relentless. They never strayed. They cooed and cooed all over the place, and with what went with it. So we put these metal things down, and they kind of a meshy thing. Didn't stop them a bit. And we got bold, and we got the thing that sounded like a hawk. And every minute or so, the hawk sound would go off. So I'm standing here looking at how this has worked, and there's the mama pigeon sitting on her eggs in the nest on the wire mesh with the hawk right over her. And then came the great engineering inspiration. They were all on the ledges under the canopy in front. I said, well, what if there weren't any ledges? And I got a carpenter, and we put 45-degree boards. There were no more ledges, and there were no more pigeons. Only child.
So you're smarter than a pigeon.
No, not much smarter. Just enough. He's a wise guy, my son David. You got it from me. So anyway, yeah, I finished 50 years here, and this year I also finished 50 years with the Mattia Committee. It was another interesting thing. When we first started, Roche was really interested. We used to have these magnificent lunches there. Good people like Elsie Ciccone, I don't know if you ever know her. She was a principal, I think, of the Washington School. And you should, little tiny lady, you should see her after 2 glasses of wine, really bossing around. Sal DiMacino, who's about 240 pounds, is the police chief. The Orecchio brothers, John Kelly, Joe Riley, Pat Intandola. It was quite an interesting thing. Anyway, I hope I have instilled some ideas in the library. Our trustees will know that many times I've told them, just keep in mind, we're trustees, we're not librarians. I don't tell the director how to do her job. She does the scheduling, programming, that's her business. I don't tell her what books to buy, I don't tell her what books not to buy. We leave that to their good discretion. We have our role, mostly fighting with the commissioners about money, but that's all right. No, the commissioners in Nutley have been very good to us. When things went bad, many libraries suffered greatly with great reductions. Our commissioners have always stuck by us. And I really don't consider, they're my friends. I've known all of them for a long time. I'm always very supportive of them, and that's the way we work here. So, unless someone has any questions, I thank you very much. I must say, of everything in the library, my favorite thing is to stand right over there by that door, and over here there's a little low table, and they have these little children, like 3 years old, and they have their little handheld devices. I guess they have a little game on them. They are so into it. The concentration of those little kids, it's just unbelievable. To me, it's just the cutest thing in the world, and it makes it all worthwhile. So thank you again. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Mauro. Thank you, Al. Thank you, John. Thank everybody. And every once in a while, someone says to me, God bless you. My reply is always the same. He has. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Anthony, and thank you for all your service to our community. A couple more thank yous, and then we'll have everybody get a couple of drinks, something to eat. I'd like to thank the Nutley Board of Commissioners. Commissioners, thank you. The Nutley Public Library Board of Trustees, the Friends of the Library, the staff of the Nutley Public Library, the Children's Room Dedication Committee, especially Michelle. She made my job a lot easier today, and all that she did. The family of the Iannarone family, and of course the Nutley High School Arts and Culinary and Music Departments for what they did here today. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy the rest of the day.